What's up guys, Hobo88 here and welcome back to iRacing. We're going to have a look at the newest track that's come to the dirt portion of the service, and that is Lanier. I've been very correctly pointed out by a few people that I was pronouncing it wrong in the last video that I did, so Lanier is apparently the way that this is meant to be said. So we're going to go through and have a quick run in all the different dirt cars on the service and see how they all stack up here. It's currently morning, 10% track state. We are in the Dirt Legend. Should be good fun. These these Dirt Legends, I've been waiting for a track. It's a little bit shorter because it's going to be better suited to these. So we're not going to spend too long mucking around with each car. We're just going to cut a few laps. Take a look at the replay. Then cut straight to the next one. So the bottom is probably the quickest way to go around here in the Legend. It feels kind of stupid running around down there, but it's going to be the quickest way. I'd much rather be up here somewhere. Keep up that momentum and speed. Thanks so much to you guys for the support on the last video that I posted. It blew up, went to 1,000 views very quickly. Really appreciate it. Make sure if you do enjoy this video as well that you subscribe if you haven't done so already. It means a lot to me to have you guys jump on board and join the community. I love posting videos for you guys. I love the interactivity that we get. I love each and every one of you. It's great to have such a good community on the channel. But let's talk about this Dirt Legend. I'll tell you what, the Legend car, which I always expected would be difficult to drive on the dirt, sort of twitchy and, you know, spin out easy, very rigid cars, they're not hard to drive at all. They're excellent fun actually. They're very quick really when you think about it. Their speed is very fast for what they are, and yet they still handle really well on the dirt. They're easy to drive, nice and easy to slide, can catch the slide. You can actually get them fairly sideways and still catch it. They don't just spin out instantly as soon as you get a little bit of a drift happening. And this track is by far the best suited now for these cars, I would think, out of all of them. USA Speedway was perhaps okay. Eldora was just too high bank, too fast really for these sort of cars. But this one here, this is the way to do it. This track is the best, I would say, so far. I'd love to see some even shorter tracks. Like the track that I like the most with the Legends on the paved side of iRacing is definitely the Charlotte Legends Oval. The tiny little oval on the main straight at Charlotte. That's my favourite. I'm going to go ahead, back it down. Let's go ahead and take a look at the replay here. I don't know why I've got the number 64 on the side. Not sure about that. Obviously, I haven't checked the number that I've got assigned to this car. But I actually think that these cars are going to be good to race here. I think that there'll be good racing to be had at Lanier in the Legends, and I reckon I'll have to either find a race here in these cars or run one myself, because I think you can actually get some really good close racing here. And I feel like if the track's slickened off a bit, you can actually get some good, nice 2-3 wide racing as well. So you can see there, high line, get that momentum up in these cars. They're not very powerful, you know. You want to keep that speed up. You don't want to scrub off all the speed with a big slide. Up high, you can keep it a lot straighter. Very good fun. And anyway, that's the Legend, Dirt Legend car, dwarf car, at Lanier. Very good fun. We're going to come back in just a second with the street stock. Welcome back guys, here we are with the street stock. It's now the afternoon, later in the day, got that sun up in the air, track temps are up a little, and the ambient temps up a little. We've got the track set to 25% usage now, so just a little bit more of a slick line forming in the middle of the track. Should be good fun. Let's go ahead and start winding this thing up. Haven't done any practice in any of these cars, by the way. The only one I'm going to have done any practice in will be the Modified when we get to it. So they're a lot more cumbersome, these things. They take a little bit of getting used to. Still good grip through that, what looks like a fairly slick line in the middle of the track. It's actually still got pretty good drive through there. Very slippery up on the top, as you saw. Whoops. This will be a great track for the street stocks as well. Obviously that smaller style of track I think suits these cars better. What I like about the street stocks is that they require more driving than nearly any other car on the service, the dirt side of things anyway. You can't just hold it flat and go all the way around the track in this car. You just have to feather the throttle, you have to work the throttle. Every track, there's barely a single track on here that you can hold it flat in these cars. And although they're not necessarily that fast, they actually require a lot more driver input, I think, than a lot of the other vehicles on here. That makes them almost more difficult to drive than some of the others, in my opinion. You've got to get the slide happening, you've got to learn how to control it. The hardest part about them is not losing the car on the entry to the corner. Because of the way that they slide, it's very easy, like you saw me do before, to get too high all the way to the fence and you've gone into the wall before you even know it. It's so slow and cumbersome, you can't do anything about it. You know, you see it coming, but you can't do much about it. It's so far here, I have to say, really like the street stock here at this track. It's a nice combination. I think that I'm going to end up liking everything because of the fact that it's a shorter track. Like I've mentioned it so many times before, and I'm just kind of sick of having dirt tracks where you are just holding it flat everywhere. You just, as fast as you can go the whole way around the track, barely having to work for a good lap time at all. And I think that this is going to be a track where you have to be a better driver to be fast at this place, I would think. So it's going to be a lot more enjoyable to drive, in my opinion, when you've got to sort of actually work the car a bit. So just testing out a few different lines here in the street stock. Bottom feels pretty good, the middle feels pretty good. Top is pretty slippery, but if you can make it stick, it feels pretty good too, actually. So again, we're just running baseline setups for all the cars. We're not running custom setups. Just whatever the baseline is that iRacing recommends. Just beautiful. I'm just going to point out as well, I'm not going to run the truck here in this video. I'm only running the cars that you would only really see running on a dirt oval regularly. I love the truck on the dirt, but I only love it for Eldora. I'm not interested in racing a truck at any other tracks. It's a one-off event that runs every year. So I'm not overly fussed about driving that at any of the other tracks. Like the truck at Lanier here, not too concerned about. So I won't be doing it in this video. If you guys want to see it, fire away in the comments below. Maybe we can do a race here one day. Well, I have to say, street stock, especially once you start to get a feel for it, extremely good fun around here. Let's go ahead, take a look at the replay. Here we are, coming down the back straight. Got that sweet looking black bullet SSR paint going on here. Someone might be able to tell me, has there been a change to the street stock? The body looks different or something. I think something looks different about it. I haven't checked the release notes, but something looks a bit different to me, but I don't know, might be just me. But They're a very cool car. This is the sort of class that I think that if I ever got into racing in the States, this would be the sort of class that I'd actually be racing in. I always sort of said if I was to race cars here in Australia, I'd race in a street stock. And our street stocks are very different to yours, but this would probably be the class to go for, I reckon. These things look like a hell of a lot of fun. And they are fairly cumbersome, but they're very, very good fun to drive. Beautiful line off there through turn 4. Nice and sideways. Here we are trying the inside now, turns 1 and 2. See right through the slick there, but at 25% track, although it does look quite slick in the middle, it's still got quite a bit of juice in it. And in reality, when you actually look at it, it looks worse here in 1 and 2 with the sun shining on it. It looks quite slick there. But when you're in the car, it looks exactly the same as 3 and 4. But then when you look at 3 and 4, it's a bit slick there on the entry, but it actually looks pretty good. It's not that black, so it's a little bit deceiving, I think. That's the line though, that's the line I love. Right on the cushion, up on the fence, that's beautiful. Really like that. Alright guys, well that's the street stock. We're going to move up next to the UMP Modified, so we'll be back in just a second with that one. Alrighty guys, a familiar sight, UMP Modified at Lanier. I've already done a video in these today, but I'm just going to quickly come back in and have another run, fire off a couple of quick laps, and that way it's nicely included in this little recap, I guess. Lanier Speedway, all dirt tracks, all dirt cars, sorry. So here we go, fire off turn 4. Still in the afternoon, but the track has warmed more. We're at 50% now, track state. Whoa! And it's quite a step up to the modified from a street stock. Kind of caught myself out there with the speed and the power. Very, very, very high. Ooh. Down into turn 1 there. Through the middle still feels probably the best, despite it looking quite slick in the middle now. It's a nice line through 1 and 2 though that time there. There's the high line. Got the high line dialed in now. It's a thing of beauty right there. Amazing. Quickly check out the bottom. So we've got to work it a little bit down there. That's better. So aggressive on the throttle and the slide. It's easy to get this car super sideways, and then it's tempting to do it because you can catch it. The car's very, very easy to catch when it's in a slide, but you want to keep it as straight as you can if you're trying to be fast, you know. Very nice line through there. It's beautiful through 1 and 2 as well. I think smooth is the key in this car. It's so much fun. Alrighty guys, we'll back it off here now. The modified, let's take a quick look at the replay. Alright, here we go. Up off of turn 4, nice and close to the wall. Well, that's that one, yeah, got really sideways. I don't know if you remember, way over pitched it and then got the wall. It was a very awkward lap, and overdriving the car, you can see the wheel backwards and forwards, the wheels going every which way, hands working pretty hard. And it's just not the way to drive them quick. It'll be smoother than that. See, way sideways again. It'll be a bit nicer on the exit of the corner, much smoother. Now we're in the zone. Pushing nicely on the top. Beautiful. It's the high line, perfect. Took a couple of laps to get the iron in the modified after running in the street stock. Very, very different. Look at that, that's as high as you go. It's an absolute top, and if we watch here for a couple more laps, we'll see the run through the bottom as well. Here we go. They're fighting it in the slick a little bit there. See it. Took a couple laps to figure out how to run the bottom as well. Yeah, see, that was perfect, that one. That was much better run through the bottom. I have to say, I just love how realistic these things look. You could swear they're a real car. The physics are so good. Very, very nice. Alright, well, we're not going to spend any more time here with the modified. Next we're going to come back with the late model, and we're going to have a run straight off the bat with the super late model. We're not going to do the lower tiered classes of the cars, so we're going to go straight to the super late model, and we'll be back in a second with that. Okay, super late models time. It's getting late in the afternoon, shadows are getting long, sun's low in the sky. We're up to 70% track state. You can see it's getting pretty black. And I feel like these super late models are going to be an awesome, awesome fun thing to drive at this track. Let's see how they go. Oh yeah, I love these cars, I love them. Oh man, how good. Like unleashing a lion from its cage. These things are just so much fun. Try and get up here on the high line without hitting the fence. We'll see how we go. Probably not doing too bad for no practice. Pretty hard to get them to stay up the top. Let's go for the bottom. Whoa. Boy, oh boy. That was just saved. We almost went into the end of the pit wall there. That would have been really bad. Oops, understeer. See if we can't get this right. Oh, understeer again. It's much better right there. There it is. Again, took a couple of laps, but we figured it out. Oh yeah, I can see some excellent late model racing coming at this track. Yep, it's going to be good. Alrighty, we'll roll off it here. We'll duck back out, take a bit of a look. I think this one's going to be good fun to watch. This car is always excellent to watch. Here we go. Up off of turn 4. Now apparently this lap we're watching now is the quickest lap that I did. Wasn't a bad lap, was it? Pretty nice to watch. A lot of time to be found here in this car for me. This is pretty rough. Just on the baseline setup and without any practice, we would certainly get better with time at this track. It's just pretty rough. You get the idea, that's what it's about. I'll show you guys what the different cars are like to drive on at the track, and the best way for me to do that is to just jump in without any practice at all. It gives you a more accurate representation of the cars are like. It's no good me doing 150 laps in each car before I jump in and do any laps, because it's not accurate, you know. It's a very, very finessed drive at that point. This is raw as it is. Get straight in the car and drive. You get a better idea. I'll tell you what, I love the late models, man. They're so much fun. They're like a tornado in a teacup. They're really, really good fun, but they're out of control. Here we go, trying to figure out the bottom. Kind of did okay the first attempt down there in 1 and 2, but this was terrifying. How did we not hit the end of the pit wall? Oh man, what a save. What a save. Again, that wasn't too bad in 1 and 2, and 3 and 4 was massive understeer, I think, this time by it. Yeah, there it is. Just waiting. Struggled again this end with the understeer. But after that, I think we got it. The next time around was pretty good. So let's see. Yeah, that's not bad. Didn't quite hold the bottom very well off the corner, but that's all right. Yeah, beautiful in 1 and 2. It's a bit of a handful to try and keep it on the bottom, and that's what I like. It's a challenge, but it's a challenge because you have to actually drive the car. You got to feather the throttle, you got to use the brake, you got to do all that stuff, you know, to get it right. Just don't have that in any of the other tracks in here at the minute, so I think it's going to be good. I think this track will be probably one of the best now for late model racing on the service. Anyway, that's it for that. We're going to come back in a moment for the granddaddy. That's right, 410 Sprint Cars. Alrighty guys, here we go. Time to scare the pants off ourselves. Very late in the afternoon, the long shadows, and we are in a 410 non-winged sprint car. I've affectionately called these things in the past rocket-powered roller skates. That's not for no reason. These things are a handful. Here we go. Super slick track. We're all the way up at 80% track wear now. And I've not got much experience in the 410s. The 360s are hard enough. I don't drive the 410s very often. But I did say that we weren't going to be doing any of the lower tiered versions of the cars. We'd be going straight to the top. So here we are with the 410 Wingless Sprintcar USAC style. Downright terrifying, you guys. Although, despite the fact that I look like I've probably got no idea what I'm doing, it's not been too bad yet to drive. I'm somehow sort of hanging on to it. Just about. Talk about complaining that the cars are too easy to drive. This is the exception to that rule. These things are so hard to drive. They're extremely hard to drive fast, that's for sure. Hard enough just to stay off the wall. Quite turn in properly there. I'll tell you what, these are race cars for the real men. Watched some of the Kokomo Clash a couple of weeks ago this year, and uh-oh. Oh. And I'll tell you what, they make for some extremely exciting racing. All over the place here. Oh, that was nice. Boy oh boy. These things are straight up terrifying though. Sort of starting to get the feel of it though. What's the chances of actually being able to do something down the bottom here? Probably not good. It's about as good as it's going to get down there, I think. Just got to back these things in at the corner so hard. No wings. Make you stick to the track. Got to do it the hard way. Tell you what though, these things are very good fun here. I'm surprised by how worn out the track is and how well the car's hanging on. Just trying to get turns 3 and 4 right. Too bad down here at 1 and 2 at the minute. That was good. That was good. There it is, guys. I think we've just figured it out. Yep. We figured it out. All of a sudden it just comes alight. The car is just incredible all of a sudden. Took us a little while, but eventually we figured it out. Alright, well before we go and put it in the wall and do something silly there, I'm going to leave it at that. Let's go ahead and check out the replay. Okay, here we go, down the back straight into turn 3. This is just before we figured out how to run this car towards the end of that run there. I know I complain a lot about the cars being too easy to drive, and this is the exception, this one. And I would drive it more because, you know, I like the fact that they're very hard to drive and it's a challenge, and I would drive them more, but the problem is they're just so hard to get used to, these cars. You have to put in a lot of time to be good in them, and I just don't have that much time to spare when it comes to these cars. So they're very good fun though. and I might be inclined to jump in and do a race here in these things, because I feel like this track is going to be good enough for these cars, where you're going to see that racing that USAC sprint cars are famous for, with the Wingless Sprintcars, and the way that they throw huge sliders at the corner and slide all the way up to the cushion, bounce off the cushion and power down the straights. The big, you know, close, tight side-by-side racing that Wingless Sprint Car racing is famous for. I think you could get that at this track if the conditions are right and the drivers are the right ones. So I might be tempted, you know. I might be interested in coming out and having a run in these things again. They're certainly a challenge. Look at that, just threw it down into the corner. Here comes the run around the bottom. Oh man, they're a great sight. Oh, anyway, that's it for the Wingless Sprint Car. Let's come back in a second with the big one, the Winged 410 Sprint Car. Alrighty guys, let's talk about something scary. The prospect of a 410 Winged Sprint Car first laps at a new track on a 90% track state track. It is slick. We know that sprint cars don't go all that well in the slick. Just running the baseline race setup that you can find in the garage from iRacing for Lanier. But this is going to be scary. It's going to be hella scary. Let's just see what happens. Pacing around in the big SSR Speedway Shop 410 sprint car. Off turn 4 here, we'll fire up and go. Wish me the best. This could be all sorts of anything right here. Oh, that's so good. There's a beautiful thing. That high line. You guys know I love the high line. Admittedly, the Winged 410 feeling pretty tame after having just driven the Wingless. Let's see what's down low. Well, there's the slick that I'm familiar with. Don't even dare breathe the throttle when you're on. Oh yeah. Pretty tough to drive down here. Yeah, that's going to be pretty sketchy. I'm not going to waste any more of my time looking like an idiot down there. I'm going to feel like a hero running around the top. It's the best part of the track right now. And being so slick everywhere else, it makes me happy. Every time I get to run the fence somewhere, I get a big smile on my dial. I love it. A couple of things real quick. Someone in the Discord channel, one of the guys in the community there, he pointed out something interesting. I didn't realise that this track was right over the back fence of Road Atlanta. It's just over the road. Didn't know that, and I think he was saying that the whole complex has been flattened or something now, which is a shame. But I didn't realise it was right over the back. Yeah, very, 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 very cool. Another observation I made as well. Something about this place, especially watching the sprint car drive around here at the minute, reminds me a little bit of Premier Speedway in Warrnambool. I don't know why. Something about it. Just the exterior of the track, very different. Not looking at that, but the track itself, from the outside fence to the inside fence, which there isn't an inside fence in Warrnambool. I don't know, something about it feels similar. Oh yeah, right up at the top. Trying to get up onto that Hordenchild line. Oh yeah! Oh man, that feels so good running up there. Oh man. Had defended that one a little. Oh boy, I'm not going to keep doing that because I'm going to look like an idiot when I hit the wall. Oh, that was so good. I can't wait to watch this one back on the replay and see what that looks like. It's 410 sprint cars at Lanier. What a combination they turned out to be. Oh, that's really good fun. I have got a race coming up in these cars, so I'll tell you about that in a sec. Let's go ahead and load up the replay. Take a bit of a squiz. Alright, here we are coming up off of turn 4. Had to roll right back in the replay here because we want to see me struggling on the bottom in this as well. So here we go. There's a bit of a look at the bottom. Very little traction. Very little traction on the bottom. See, you sort of got to feather it. Back to the top. That's where it was good. I have to say, this thing runs just amazingly on the top. 90% track state. I was really worried. I thought for sure I'd be buzzing tyres and looking like a fool the whole way around this place, but that high line saved me. Made me feel like a hero. So yeah, I sort of mentioned I have got a race coming up here. The sprint cars at Lanier. We've got an event coming up. It's I got invited. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a one-off special event being run by the guys at Race on Oz, I think it was. But the dates I can't quite remember. But keep an eye out on the channel because we are going to have a really good. It's a 2-night event. We transferred directly to night number 2 because we're invited. I'm an invited seated driver, as is my teammate Jordan Charge. But night number 1 is going to be interesting. There's a bunch of guys that are all racing for transfer spots, so we'll be watching on that quite intently. And I'll be giving out details about that when it comes up. I think it's not until middle of next month. It's still a few weeks away, but I'll keep you posted. But, I'm looking forward to it, especially now after having run a couple of laps here. Just waiting to see me start pushing the envelope here on the cushion on the top. Because I'm really keen to see what that looked like. Still fairly shallow at the turn in. That was higher. Much higher. There it is. Whoa, look at that! Oh boy. Yep, that's the Horden Shield line right up there. Oh man, that's so good. So good. Oh, oh boy. Alright, well I know I'm about to button it off here, so that's all the cars. That's all of the main cars anyway. The only one I haven't done is the truck, like I talked about earlier. So that was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed going through all the different vehicles. Gives you a taste of what these things are like to drive at Lanier. All the different cars. A lot of fun. A lot of fun, guys. But that's it for the video. Follow me on Twitter at Hobbo88 for all the latest. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy what you're watching. Make sure you hit the like button as well. But jump in the Discord channel. Links in the description below. Other than that, that's it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching.